Individuality, sense of I, disappears, and then the light shines upon itself, i.e. Brahman is revealed.
Perfect. And this is called the yogic path, the way of silencing the mind. The mind generates distortions, and if you silence the mind actively, if you fall asleep, it won't work. Then also the mind is silenced. And then also the sense of individuality disappears. Then also your samsara disappears. It's a deep sleep. You don't exist as an individual. Where is your samsara? Everything is gone. It's perfect. But only thing is, it's not perfect because everything is there. It'll all come back in some time when you wake up from deep sleep. But this is the yogic path. The yogic path says the problem is the distortion set up by the mind, as he says. And therefore the solution must be calming the mind down. When you calm down, when you settle the movements of the mind, the reality should shine through. Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga, definition of yoga. It's not downward dog. It is the cessation of the play of the mind, the activities of the mind. Swami Vivekananda says, like a lake, when the water is very pure and there are no ripples or waves, you can see straight through to the bottom of the lake. That example he gives. Otherwise, when there are ripples and the water is muddy, then you can't see through to the bottom of the lake. Similarly, when the mind is at play, the reality which is within the mind, which is deeper than the mind, sort of the ground of the mind, or the real nature of the mind, will not manifest itself. I can't quite understand that without the play of the mind, how, in the absence of the activity of the mind, how does it manifest itself? Think about Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Ma Sharada, Ramana Maharshi and others, whoever is fully enlightened. In the middle of their day-to-day activities, when they are not in samadhi, when Sri Ramakrishna is talking or eating a jalebi, is his mind functioning or not? Yes. And at that point, is he fully enlightened or is it everything obscured at that point? He's fully enlightened. So what is it that even when the mind is functioning, the mind is at play, the reality is not obscured? How is that possible? If the functioning of the mind is the main obstacle to reality, then the only way you can have continuous access to your own reality is to remain in samadhi. Stop the mind from playing. One sadhu, I'm just translating, in the Himalayas, he said in Hindi, "Lo, apne pyare ko samadhi ke jail khane mein band kar diya." See, you have put your beloved, your God, your beloved in the jail, in the jail of samadhi, and thrown away the keys. The only way you can get access to your beloved God is in that jail of samadhi. Not when you are walking, talking, thinking. The Buddha, in deepest meditation, he came across Bodhi, the enlightenment. Now, if in the deepest meditation, when everything is stilled, the reality shines through, as he has said. But then later, he spent the last 40 years of his life walking, talking, begging for food, instructing, building up a huge monastic organization. So was he distanced from the Bodhi? Was he distanced from reality at that time? No. Therefore, here's the conclusion. Activity of the mind is not the primary obstacle to realization, to enlightenment. According to Advaita Vedanta, the primary obstacle to enlightenment, and Buddhism also, the primary obstacle to enlightenment is ignorance, is not knowing the reality. In deep meditation, what it is, after that even when the mind is functioning, you still see it. It's like that little kid, I've given this example earlier, who doesn't know what a movie is. Just imagine such a little kid exists. And then the father takes him to a city to show him a movie, a cinema, and says that it's a screen on which there are pictures and there's sound and you can see a story. So he enters the cinema hall, the movie has started. This is very important because when we enter the cinema, at the beginning we would know everything, but nobody starts at the beginning. It's all going on nicely and we suddenly appear on the scene. And what happens? At first the kid is immersed in the movie. That's what happens to us. We don't inquire what's the reality of what's going on. No little baby inquires of, mostly. They're immersed in everything that's going on. They're fascinated by the movie. And we remain like that. And most people remain at that baby stage throughout their lives. But some people begin to question, what's going on here? Who am I? What is all this? What's the... And so the little kid after some time asked his dad, Dad, so this is the movie? Yes. Where's the screen? And Dad says, there. Suppose he's watching Star Wars or something like that, So there. And he says, oh, the spaceship is the movie. Spaceship is the screen. No, behind that. Oh, the planet is the screen. No, behind that. Oh, behind that is empty space. So the empty space is the screen. No. You just remove all of this. And that's the screen. Oh, so that means nothing. The screen is nothing. No. All of it together is the screen. Oh, so you mean screen means planets and stars and spaceships and space battles all together? That's the screen. How will the father point out the reality to the kid when there are pictures? Wherever he points, there's a picture, and the kid is going to take the picture as the screen. However, one way of convincing the kid is like what he said. There used to be half times in movies earlier. So if the movie is switched off, you can go and get your popcorn or whatever. And when the movie is switched off, first what happens is deep darkness. You don't see yourself, you don't see the screen, you don't see the movie, nothing. That's like deep sleep. But then the lights come on and you see the screen on which without the movie. That's like what he is saying. When the mind is stilled, the play of the mind is stilled, the reality shines through. Not in sleep, through yogic meditation, that conscious stilling of the mind. The reality shines through. But next, an interesting thing happens. The kid sees the screen. And when the movie starts again and there are space battles and spaceships and so on and so forth, the kid is no longer confused. The kid knows these are the pictures and the screen is right there. What I'm seeing is the screen, even with the movie. Similarly, when the mind is at play after that enlightenment experience and the world appears and you are talking, walking and doing whatever has to be done, all the time, that absolute alone which is appearing in all of these ways. There's no doubt about it anymore. You're directly in contact, or you know that you are that. In the case of the movie, you are separate and the screen is separate, and on that a movie appears. But in this case, you are the movie screen and the movie is also nothing but you. I'm using words carefully. You are not the movie, but the movie is nothing but you. You are the screen on which the movie, any movie appears, or no movie can appear, but you can still be there.